See if it's starting. Yay, it's starting.
Great.
Okay, we don't know if you can hear us or see us. We're going to start recording just in case. There we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
This is the Rhythm Guys. We just finished doing our open mic set here at Studio 770. Oops, sorry, I'm backwards on this video. This is all new.
Yeah.
So it's strange. Anyway, so we just wanted to do a quick wrap up. If you happen to watch us earlier, we recorded our theme song written by Ron here, and we had fun doing it, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to hearing the finished version of that and seeing how it works out. But anyway, we just wanted to say hello and kind of talk it through. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, because if you're watching this, then you must be a subscriber. So thank you so much.
Fantastic!
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've gotten up to 2 episodes. Episode 3 will come out next week, and then we got some more in the pipeline for you. Anyway, so tonight, let's see, we did, how many tracks did we do? 11? Something like that?
Something like that.
So, somewhere near 11, yeah, we did a few. The first one we had 3, the next one we had 1, and then somebody had 2. And
at the end we had 2, a surprise, someone that wasn't on the list showed up.
And just again, just so everybody knows, the open mic is a regular event here at Studio 770 where people can, for a very discounted price, come in and have a professional rhythm section, back them on any tunes that they desire. We don't have really a chance to necessarily look at what they're going to do before, and many times they just come in and a minute before we start to play, tell us what tune they're doing. We come up with our own intros, our own endings, our own solos, and put it down for them, and they have a chance to come back and maybe redo their vocals or whatever they've been doing with us. We don't, so we have to get it as close to perfect
as close as we can.
Time.
It's not always perfect, but you know, we do what we can. But that's part of the game. That's why we're doing these shows, is because we want you to know that it's okay, one, to make mistakes every once in a while. But you know, the whole point is that we're trying to do the best we can do every chance we get. We're trying to get better than the time before and perfect it as much as we can. One of the things you'll see when we post the video, actually it's already on the YouTube, but we'll probably have a little bit more interesting talk about it later. But you know, you can see how the song we recorded earlier for us developed over time. You know, Ron had it written, and then during the recording process, each one of us were throwing in suggestions to make it a little bit better. We were using our musical experience to say, you know what, in the past this kind of works. This tends to make something better, or I have this idea that might sound good. And we were, you know, throwing grooves back and forth, trying different ways of setting up things. We changed the length. We
went through about 3 or 4 different tempos even. To fill it out in different spaces. Yep.
So sometimes just knowing that you have the flexibility to change things as a rhythm section can be really liberating, and it can be helpful, because sometimes in the context of a big band, if you're in a situation where you're not the conductor, if you're in a high school or something and you don't really get any say on tempos, that's something different. But if you're working with a group at a higher level, maybe you're an adult or you're in a college group, realizing that you don't have to stick exactly to the meter that's written on the published chart, that can make a huge difference in how well the group plays together. And if the trumpet players are dying because of speed, you know, sometimes it just lets everything sit and everyone feels better, and it just clicks and it swings.
And also, you know, as I wrote the tune, I left it very open. I like writing that way because I love giving the musicians I'm working with kind of the freedom to come up with their own parts. So it depends on the writer too. I write just a basic chord progression, melody, maybe a couple hits, maybe the general groove, and that's it. I don't usually write a specific bass part, a specific drum part. So I like to let the drummer and bass player kind of come up with their own thing, because they know their instruments best. But you may run across an arranger or a writer who actually writes specific parts. He wants the drum to do this exactly and the bass player to do this. And so you got to be able to read that and maybe be elastic with that a little bit and play with it, but at least read what the writer wrote for you, because it's their tune. Right. But in a situation like myself as a writer, I'll write much more openly so that the musicians can contribute more. And that's kind of what we did earlier, is getting feedback. What's your bass line going to be, Sam? And then, what's the kick pattern going to be for drums? And all that kind of builds organically in the studio at that time.
Yeah.
I want to just point out a couple things about the open mic. That relates to all of this, but kind of one of the things you were talking about earlier is how people just show up with whatever they show up with. And so a gal that's been here before, who, in this case, it was just drums and piano, and she had a vocalist, and they wanted a rough track for something that they were going to do with their choir later on at church. It was a Christmas thing. But the beginning, the music had a couple of bars there that were written out, and music that was pasted together. But after sitting at the piano and her walking me through the introduction, I just knew, because she wasn't reading the music. She said, we're going to do these kind of things, and she was just counting how many beats, not measures. And after it happened a couple of times, I knew, for sake of her time and her money and the product that they wanted with, I finally, in this case, just said, you know what, you do that beginning part, and I'll do this. When I hear your pickup here, then I'll come in. Otherwise, it was not a time to rehearse. That's the one thing, and this is the thing that we know that some of the folks coming in don't know, is they come in, they see what we do, and they just think, wow, they can do anything. Great, thanks for the confidence, but sometimes, like in this case, I had to let her know, if you have me, I'm going to burn your time trying to catch your impromptu thing that you're doing, and it's just better if you play it yourself, and then I come in at a different point later on. So sometimes those kinds of things are done, and she totally could have had the prerogative that, no, I want the drums at the beginning. Then I would have had to suck it up and figure that out, best of my ability. But there are times where you know, in the time that they have, knowing that they want to leave with a certain product, I kind of made that call, and then I just had to really, really focus, because the timing wasn't the strongest. Her scratch vocalist wasn't the strongest, and they knew that, and they were just trying to get, solid piano and drums. But that was just one thing that kind of comes up, and sometimes you just have to lead the artist, lead them a certain way so that they get their money worth here. And so, that was just kind of one thing that comes up, and the kind of time constraints that we're on. That
Same thing with me tonight. A good singer, young girl, came in and brought a pop tune and read it. It was just piano and vocal. And the chart she brought had absolutely no coherence to what she was singing. I think she probably has an arrangement, and this is maybe the arrangement from the recording or something. I don't know what it was, but it didn't match up at all. So again, I had to kind of cut and paste and go, okay, let's go here, and then we're going to just kind of make up our own ending here. And fortunately, she went along with it, and I think it came out pretty good. But got to think on your feet that way, too, that if the chart's not working, then you got to, come up with your own arrangement on the spot. And just a warning to people that come into studios to have material, charts that match up to what you're singing. Really important. Otherwise, you'll run into that problem, and you'll waste a lot of studio time and waste your money going over something that's being rehearsed now in the studio when it should be recorded.
Have friends that that are musicians take a look at what you're doing, even if they're not the ones on the session. Have them take a look at what you're planning on doing, because they can give you a quick pointer. If you're someone who doesn't read music, check with somebody who does read music. Go, does this look right? And they can go, oh, wait a minute, why does this do this? Or, hey, there's a whole bar missing, or something they might catch that you don't know. It's okay for a lot of, there's a lot of singers out there who don't read music. That's okay. Our job is to make you sound good anyway. It helps if you can read music, because then we can speak the same language. But if not, we still have to know what's going on. So, especially if you're paying money, you've got to talk to somebody so we can communicate, because there's only so much we can do off of gut instinct, especially if it's not something that's in our genre. And then the other thing about that song was it wasn't a jazz song that you were doing. It was a total pop song that had nothing to do with the stuff that we know really well. So he was really on the spot having to make something up that he wasn't familiar with. So, if it's not in your bag, then you really have to have that communication going. So that's a super important thing to know about.
Hey, I'm going to throw Ron a softball, because he's not going to brag on his own. We made history tonight with our youngest pianist.
God.
So I'm going to let Ron talk about this. This was really, really cool moment tonight.
10-year-old Xavier came in. Yeah. I started playing piano at 9. I was playing, real simple 5-finger patterns. And he came in, did a Christmas tune, played the melody, improvised over an entire chorus, played the melody out, and came up with a tag ending and ended it perfectly. And he is an amazing kid. And the thing that I was so proud of him for is that he stayed right with where the tune was. It's so easy to get lost, especially his first time in the studio. I don't think he's ever played with headphones on and hearing the other musicians in the other rooms play through the headphones. But he put it on.
Watching him?
Bunch of people watching him.
Yeah, I would have freaked out.
Oh, my goodness. And he stayed with it. And Sam said there's one part where he got a little bit ahead, but he listened to where the drums and bass were and got right back on the next part. He was right on. And he ended totally together with everybody.
Super cool.
Really,
I don't know if
really
you say
cool.
Did you say it or not? He's your student.
Yeah.
Ron's student.
Yeah.
And the great example of having a great teacher and high expectations. Again, all of us are educators, so we know that. That you set the bar high, kids will reach because they want to do well. It was wonderful to see him show up and just take care of that.
Yeah.
And
Sixth grader.
Yeah.
Sixth grader.
His parents were here. So proud to see him do that.
Really cool.
But he had shown up also. So here was the studio version, but he had played live also under that pressure you mentioned, right?
Right.
At a
jam session. Played with other musicians.
So you had the live and the studio. Yes, everyone
should do a jam session.
Yep. So,
but it just goes to show you, just that his name's Xavier, and the point about Xavier is having the guts to get out there and do it and play with other musicians. It is something to sit at home and practice. That's one thing, but there's a whole another level about getting out and playing with other musicians and interacting with them and musically that all of you who are aspiring musicians need to do.
Get out of the bubble. Yeah. The bubble only protects you for a little while, then it starts to harm you. You got to get out and do it, and you're gonna fail. It's okay. Nobody dies when you fail at music. You just come back and do it again, and again and again and again. We all fail. I think I'm pretty sure we all failed at some point tonight.
Yes.
And it happens, and that's just part of the game. You just got to roll with it. I mean, and the lucky part is you get to a certain point where your failures are not as obvious to everyone. You always know where your fails are. That's the curse of being an artist. You always know when you screwed up, but not everybody catches on. And you just got to keep going until you feel comfortable.
Yeah, and you know what? I went through a music program with the director that gave an amazing person, but gave that message that you got one take, and we do it in one take in the studio. I had not been to the studio at that point, so I took that in. And the good thing is that pushed me to do my very best. But then, as I became exposed to higher levels of music, I realized, no, man, the best of the best do several takes. Now, sometimes, you got drummers, you got your Vinnie Colaiuta and others that sometimes just do one take. We're still trying to figure out if he's human or not, actually. But there's that. But the vast majority, you go in there, whether it's just creating together, doing 2 or 3 different takes, just for the creativity, or because you're working through some sections. But that's the norm that I've come to know, is that there's going to be, whether through mistakes or just being creative, you're going to go through the process a couple times, and that's creativity. We see that in every other area of artistry, an artist going through sketches before they actually, I mean, and so some reason, I wish I would have gotten the other message. So I love the fact that Sam was pushing that. You're going to make mistakes. That's normal. That's just normal. And so do it. Fail early. And get to know what that feels like. Find out why you failed. Fix it, and then move on. But it's just part of the process. Anyone that tells you otherwise, maybe that's the case for them. But I'm telling you, that's not the normal experience. Great musicians have hiccups under pressure sometimes, and you work your best not to make it happen. And they should be few as you become more experienced, but they happen. They do happen.
Well, any other quick points we want to get before?
Happy birthday, studio.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
18
years.
18 years for Studio 770. Open mic for 6 years. We've been doing this for 6 years as the house band, and it's been great and it's been fun.
Yeah.
yeah, so the Rhythm Guides will be continuing. We'll have another one on
December 11th,
which is a Tuesday.
Yeah, so sign up.
And yeah, sign up. I'm sure if you watch our videos, we'll have another discount for you if you missed it this time around. I know we'll have some sort of promotion to help you come with that because they're so graciously letting us use their space to do our episodes. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to therhythmguys.com. We now have an Instagram, The Rhythm Guys Official. We have Twitter, The Rhythm Guys. And we even have a Facebook page that's very much in its infancy and just says The Rhythm Guys Official. It'll be set up later. The videos are on YouTube, and please subscribe. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, first, how did you get here? Second, you need to subscribe because then we'll get to we need 100 people so we can get to the point where we can have our own vanity label so we can just say youtube.com/The Rhythm Guys. Right now we're just a bunch of gobbledygook, and that's really hard to show people. So please consider subscribing. We'll have more stuff for you soon. Also, you can email us at info@therhythmguys.com. Ask us questions. Give us comments. We'd love to hear from you about stuff we've missed on any of our episodes or any subjects that you'd like us to talk about. We've got lots of ideas. You've got more than we can possibly come up with. We'd love to hear them. So please just take that moment, send us that email or send us that tweet. Let us know what you'd like to hear, see, whatever. We've got a couple special guests we've been talking about having come in and talk about their specific areas of jazz and how they relate to the rhythm section. So, and not just jazz, but other stuff as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. And now it's going to be really awkward because I have to walk to the computer to turn it off. So see you guys later.
Take care.